We're here with Tina Marie Gamble today. You are one of the highest producing agents in Hawaii. Over 50 transactions a year typically. What was the last 12 months like for you?
Busy, but I definitely couldn't be doing it all without my business partner. And I would say in the past 12 months, around past 12 months, we're helping around 70 to 80 families at that time.
Wow.
So it is really exciting and life-changing to get to be that person in these families' lives.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's incredible. How long ago did you get started in the business, and how did you break into real estate?
So, okay, that's a big question. So I started to get licensed in 2016, but it was a dream ever since I was a little girl. I know that sounds really interesting because
unusual.
Yes. I mean, come on, most people dream of growing up to be astronauts, doctors, lawyers, whatever it may be.
That's so cool.
But a lot of the time it's the influence that they had as to why they wanted to grow up and be something. So for me, the influence I had was my beloved Momo, my grandma. And my parents, were very busy, so I spent a lot of time with my Momo, who was a real estate agent in the Dallas area.
Did she take you to showings and stuff like that?
That's
so cool.
I was so young that I would take her little digital camera and I would take pictures of the house when we were out showing buyers, thinking I'm doing listing photos.
Yeah.
So
cute.
So I really didn't understand real estate, but I saw her interactions with everybody. They loved her. Everyone was just she just was somebody that they trusted and would listen to and took her advice, and she was very good at what she did. So when I was little, I said, when I grow up, I want to be just like my Momo and be a realtor.
Yeah.
So fast forward to my high school years when my parents went through a divorce. My friend asked me, when you graduate high school, you want to move to Hawaii with me? I was like, okay, sure. I literally was just like this, sitting down, and she just asked me, you want to move to Hawaii with me? And I was like, let's do it.
Yeah.
So I saved up my money, bought a one-way ticket 10 months in advance.
Wow.
And then her and I ended up moving out here with one other friend joined kind of 4 or 5 months before. But her and I bought our tickets, I believe it was November 2010. We moved out here August 2011. And I mean, I didn't know anybody or anything. I'd never visited Hawaii.
Wow.
I just brought 2 suitcases, lived in a hotel until we found a place, until our hotel was hey, your night's in tonight, you gotta find a place. Because they were so at capacity in August. And so we're oh my gosh. So thankfully we found a place. It was heaven sent. We got a rental. And I started working at a restaurant in Waikiki called Yard House. Yeah, and a very busy restaurant. Very, very blessed. Even how I got that job, I could talk forever. But God really paved my way. I had good restaurant experience. I was only 19, got hired as the youngest server at Yard House from just having a random conversation with another guy at another interview spot. I gave him my interview spot so it could fit his schedule, and he's like, I'll put in a good word for you at Yard House. And at the time, I always wanted to write a book, what being nice to people can get you. Because I felt God put me in the right place at the right time in so many situations where just being nice and kindness got me to the next level.
Yeah.
So anyways, I loved working at Yard House. It was great vibes, good fun. But in 2014, my grandma, my Momo, fell ill. And so I went to go spend her last days with her. I was there for her funeral, and people got up and had just of course, wonderful things to say about her. Just how much she helped them. So she was in Dallas, Texas. So she would help them get their immigration paperwork. She would help them get a job. A lot of times she'd help them get a job, such as a live-in nanny housekeeper for families, so that way they had a job and a place to live. Then they would move out and get their own place, and she'd help them buy their first home until they had their family.
She's a life coach.
She really was just amazing. So all these people got up at the podium and just wanted to say how much she impacted their lives. She passed away at a young age of 64 and just did so much. And I was just thinking at the time I was paying my way through school to be a physical therapist. And this is the year they said, if you want to be a physical therapist, you have to get a doctorate. And I'm oh my gosh, I'm a waitress.
Right.
How am I going to afford that?
Yeah.
It used to be a master's, but then they're you got to get a doctorate. And I'm I'm barely Yard House was good, but like paying for a doctorate, like all on my own, skateboarding and catching the bus everywhere, like, I don't know if I'm like, I don't know. I kind of was like, maybe I need another job to help me pay for this. And after my grandma's funeral, I really felt like a shift and God just kind of calling me to try this. And so I started to work on it, and it wasn't until, she passed away in 2014. It wasn't until 2016 that I had done everything like pre-licensing that I needed to do. Started on my 25th birthday, October 10th, 2016. Didn't make a dime for 6 months. And I was like determined to like all in. I had to quit working at Yard House because they wanted me to work more than 3 shifts a week, and I was living in Makakilo, Kapolei.
Oof. Commuting to Waikiki.
Yes, but and then they wanted more than 3 days, and I was like, my schedule can't afford to do that if I'm working 50 hours a week in real estate, learning. Like I'm talking working for free because I'm just learning everything. Yeah. So I got a job at a local restaurant that was just opening, and I was able to work like very minimal shifts until I got like my first commission check. It was kind of like, okay, so telling you the whole story, like how much God really like put his hand and blessed this, was that I got my first commission check on April 31st. My grandma took her last breath on April 31st, 2014. And so my first commission check came 3 years later from that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was just like, wow. My very first client, like I went to an open house, and I wore this scarf that I had got from my grandma when I had like backpacked Southeast Asia, and I wore it as like a good luck charm to like this open house, and got a client. They loved me. Had my first closing from that. Yeah. And so just like all these things, like my grandma was like really from above, like blessing me in the industry, and like God was saying, you know what, like I'm gonna show you that like you thought physical therapy was your path, but maybe it's following in your momo's footsteps in real estate, because I'm gonna show you that there's a way that you can help people with real estate. Yeah. So that was a big backstory.
That's amazing. So thinking about when you first started in the industry, how were you getting your business? What were you doing to build up your sphere, and what was working, what wasn't working?
So as I mentioned, I came from the restaurant industry where, it's very common for waiters and waitresses not to claim 100% of their tips because then you got to pay taxes on them. So the people that I knew weren't ready to buy real estate by any means. And then I'm like working in Waikiki and living, on the west side, and just like creating this new life and trying to see where I fit in. And at the time, I was willing to take any and every client. Of course, anybody starting out in the industry, you don't really know what your niche is. You're just like, whatever's coming to me, I'll take. So for me though, my boyfriend, now husband, was in the military. And at this time he was in the military. He no longer is, but he was. And he kind of like mentioned to some people like, oh yeah, my girlfriend's doing real estate if you want to talk to her. So I was like, oh my gosh, like VA loans. Okay, I need to learn about the military before I sit down with these people.
Become an expert, Yes,
I was like studying as much as I could about the VA loan. I was just spending countless hours trying to understand like the military niche before I even had a consult with these people, knowing whether or not they hired me. Yeah. So that's where I went into, having those military clients. I really impressed them. They were like, you're my agent. Like, let's go look at houses and do what we need to do. And from there, they loved me so much they would tell their friends and family
I was just going to say,
like
a lot
their
of word of mouth.
Colleagues coming in. Not really their family, because they're military, so they'd tell like their colleagues coming in like, oh, I had a good experience with this realtor, you should sit down with her and talk to her. So that's how that started.
So that was a big portion of your early business.
Well, that was a small portion. That was like one here and there, right? Because it took me a little while to get the escrows flowing. So I sat open houses. I would pass out flyers a lot for my open houses. I would pass out random flyers. Like I was just telling my sister-in-law recently, because she's starting a yoga business, that I remember like being a brand new agent and Marcus out there, like we'd dress nice just in case we would meet anybody. He'd be like in nice slacks and a long sleeve button-up shirt, like just like really supporting me and handing out flyers left and right with me just to try to meet people. I mean, I was pulling out all the stops. I was like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get clients, because I've invested so much time and energy into this that it's my life, like, So I got some from flyers. I got some from open houses. And then I think after I made my first commission check, I slowly dabbled in online leads, which the platform at the time was Realtor.com. I don't like their platform now. They've changed it completely. But I put very little in. I think they say like put 10% of what you're making into your advertising. So I mean, I literally started with like $197 into ads, and I was just very good with my own lead follow-up, because when you don't have a lot of leads and you get a lead, you're like, I'm going to take this right now. And so that was my life. And again, thank you to my husband for being so gracious. Like, we'd be at nice dinners and I'm like, babe, I got to step out. And then I'm like having a full conversation right outside this like restaurant, like on date night to work on this lead. And I come back inside and he's like half done with his food. And never complained though. He was always really gracious and supportive. So
that's kind of unusual. That's amazing.
I didn't really have boundaries, which I do now. Life has changed a lot.
Protecting family life and all that.
Yes, definitely. But in the beginning, like, I was just so determined and eager, and I didn't have kids yet. We were dating, and had to do what I had to do.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, so how about now? What is your main source of leads? What do you do to nurture those lead sources?
So I manifested it, and back then I was paying for leads, and eventually I started paying more for leads, online leads, and still doing lots of open houses. And I mean, I'm talking some weeks I was doing 3-4 open houses a week.
Wow.
Yeah, I was doing whatever it took. I would go get a facial, talk to the person giving me a facial about real estate, talk to the coffee shop, like anybody like that was around and would listen that I do real estate. And so I manifested, okay, put in all this work now, and one day my business is going to be based off of referrals, repeat clients as well, you know, because I'm going to do such a good job that if they want to sell their house after buying, then
they wouldn't consider using anyone else.
No, my clients are very loyal. They're very loyal. They'll tell me when they get cold called sometimes. and
I'm not cheating on you.
It's I mean, but it's because I'm following in my Momo's footsteps. Like, they're not a transaction to me. They're family. Like, I just had a gender reveal for my baby the other day, and it was all people that I had helped buy or sell a house. Like, you know, they're excited to be invited to those things.
That's so cool.
Sarah, my business partner, her daughter's birthday party was in May, and everyone was there too. Like, I mean, we're talking like some of our like single soldiers that have no kids still come and hang out because they know they're going to have a good time with us.
Yeah.
You know, you saw my wedding.
Like, it was amazing.
It was a lot of, and I mean, out of like 330 people, like I probably had like 80 people fly in, but the rest were connections I've made on the island, which are pretty much clients.
Only in the last 13 years or something too.
So my 1-year anniversary is here in a couple weeks, actually. Or not 1 year, sorry, my 13-year
of being here
anniversary. Yes.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. A lot of agents really want to be more on the listing side, especially right now. And you have a lot of success with listings. So tell us more about that.
I think being type A helps a lot. I am a very structured, strategic thinker. And I will say that getting into real estate, if you're not getting into a team that already has structure, I think it's hard because you're working on getting clients. And so there's a big difference between working in the business and on the business. And I don't think a lot of people actually know the difference between the two, or they think they know, but they may not have set aside hours of office hours to work on this. So I'm very blessed in the sense that working with Sarah Martinez, I've been able to still keep our business going, and so she can work in the business and then give me a chance to work on the business and build systems. I think when you're listing a property, you are essentially selling something more than when we work with buyers and we're giving them education and helping them make the decision if buying is right for their family. Whereas when you're listing, you're selling a house. Like, you're not just selling that house, you're selling a lifestyle. You need to have structure and organization. So I've worked very diligently. We have an over 100-step process for everything we do from start to finish with listings. That's a lot of marketing. It's a lot of it's a lot of work, to be honest, and it's a lot for just a solo agent to do. I have Sarah, but we also have 2 admins and transaction managers who help us. So I would say like stepping into the listing side, you really got to like fine tune your systems as best as possible, because otherwise you're going to drain yourself. Like it's so much work to actually be a good listing agent that if you cut corners, you're not going to be continuing to do listings, because that's going to be your reputation.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
One of the things you really focused on is efficiency. You're super efficient. So tell us about your favorite tool, your favorite system that you use.
I'm a big spreadsheet queen. I will say that.
Me too.
Some people are, some people aren't. So I'm a spreadsheet queen. Sarah is not, but she loves spreadsheets, because at any given point we can see where we are in our business, what's projected, anything like that. So I would say I love Google Sheets and keeping everything really organized. I use Monday.com. It can be a CRM, but then you can also use it for having your whole process. You can have different team members on Monday.com. So let's say that once something gets checked done, it alerts the next team member of what their task is, and then they know. And then once they're done, it kind of goes in an order. Super organized. I really love automations. So there's MiniChat, Zapier. There's so many great AI tools out there that I could talk about AI in real estate a lot, but you have to take the time to actually learn the systems, and then you have to create what works for you. There was a time in my career where I was like, okay, I love Monday.com, but is there an agent out there who created like a whole listing checklist platform? Couldn't find anybody. I was like looking, I was like, is anybody like selling this stuff or anything? And so I was like, fine, I'll just create it from scratch. So all of our systems I have created from scratch that are edited all the time too. Like, I mean,
you're always growing them and changing them.
Yes, like it's. I mean, it depends on the market, what you're doing, adding in new things. With technology changing too, you want to add in new tools and resources to better improve, and you really just have to keep up with the times. But yeah, I just went ahead and made it all from scratch, and it's perfect for our team.
Yeah, that's good. You started a new venture to help other agents. So tell us about that. That's so exciting.
I really feel like God put it on my heart around December, January time that, okay, like I just said, I built all these systems from scratch. I couldn't find them anywhere for if I wanted to buy them. So I was like, you know, I love helping people so much, and I love real estate, but my thing about who I am is I love helping people. So I help people through real estate, but there's other ways that I can help than just buyers and sellers. I can help other agents, and I've had agents ask me for years. I mean, from when I really started taking off with sales, I've had agents look to me for mentorship or ask me questions, and I'm already answering all these questions all the time. And I'm like, what if I just take all these questions that I'm being asked and like create like a slideshow and make videos and come up with like a coaching program to not just help agents on the island, but help agents across the mainland, because I believe the systems that we use aren't just for Hawaii, they're for any agent. And also like organizing lead generation and just helping agents who don't have a Sarah to focus in the business, and I can help give them the resources to have on the business kind of in the back end already done. Because again, that's taken me taking a little bit of a step back sometimes, and Sarah's out doing, you know, a lot of showings while I'm on the computer making sure that we're organized on the back end. And there's a lot of solo agents that can do this, but they're going to burn themselves out and probably quit the industry before they even get to that like peak performance. So I was like, you know what? I can help these agents. I want to be solo agents. I don't want to run a mega team, don't want to be on a mega team. Maybe they want to, you know, do it on their own, maybe with a partner, or maybe they want to have a small team. I can help them come up with the back end so they can focus on what they love, which is working with clients. Most of the time, people in the industry that love the industry love working with clients.
Have you already started it? Have you launched it?
So right now we're in the nurturing phase where we're really just trying to get to know agents, not just in Hawaii, but agents across the mainland as well. I do free webinars once a month where I talk about different things. I think my next one is going to be talking about leverage, whether you're a solo agent, growing a small team, growing a big team, whatever it may be, talking about leverage. And then also talking about having a leadership mindset. So it's just a free webinar. You can jump on and learn about, you know, different things every month. And then eventually, probably towards the end of 2024, I'll be launching like an 8-week course.
That's so exciting. So
It is.
exciting. Yeah.
It is, yes.
There's something else exciting right here.
Yes.
I don't know if you can see, but you're almost 30 weeks pregnant with your second child.
Yes.
And you have such a demanding career. So tell us what success is going to look like in this new season when you have a newborn again.
Oh, well, having a toddler.
Yes.
Newborn sounds, but having a toddler makes a newborn sound so easy. But at the same time, I'm still going to have my toddler. I feel like it's going to be wonderful. I'll baby wear her and, do my thing, kind of like I was with Gigi in the beginning, and time blocking to make sure I'm giving both my daughters like good individual attention. Same with giving my husband attention. We're very blessed. We have an amazing nanny, so that helps. Awesome. I'm pretty good with my schedule. I mean, obviously real estate is all over the place, but again, I'm very blessed to have Sarah help me with different hours. Like we work a little bit of different hours sometimes and give each other time off. But
don't you get up really early in the morning, like before Gigi even wakes, and begin your day? Yeah,
I'm one of those rare parents that I have to wake my daughter up, whereas like she doesn't really wake us up. So
that's very unusual.
Yeah, I'm very blessed there. So we'll usually wake her between 7:30 and 8. So if I'm waking up at 4:30, I get my morning devotion done, and then I can get a lot of the work done with like on the business, but also in the business, like planning our day, making sure all of our escrows are really in line. That's another thing that I like to do as well, not just like build the systems, but making sure that our escrows are running like extremely smooth for our clients, to where they don't even really know about hiccups because we're handling them. So I get that done. We spend family time in the morning, and then I work again, and then family time again in the evening. So I am very blessed that I get a good amount of family time for our work-life balance, because I 1000% believe that you can be a good mom and have a successful real estate career without sacrificing one or the other. Like, it is so possible. You just have to come up with a plan and be organized.
Well, and you're so disciplined, and most people are not, so that's just such a huge asset for you. It pours out of you. It's so obvious.
Thank you. That's awesome. So sweet.
Yeah. No, it's true.
I think it just happened one day. I mean, if you want anything in this life, you really got to go out and like, you have to work. Like, I'm not here, like, my coaching is not going to be like how to make $1 million and work 10 hours a week. Like, no, it is hard work, and you got to be willing to put in the work. But you'll see the results, and if you really look at it like you're building for the future to one day work less. Like I said, I was paying for leads in the beginning in my industry times, and then eventually I knew one day that like I would have an easier business where warm leads come to me, and they're like, hey, I heard you did a great job, like, I'm ready to work with you. And that's what I want anybody who does coaching with us to also have, because it's such a great feeling. I mean, driving away from a listing consult a week ago, they're like, where do I sign? Like, because they're like, we already know so much about you. We're like, we know nothing really about you besides your house and your address. And they're like talking to me about my daughter they see on like some of my social media and stuff. And it was just really sweet and flattering to just get warm leads.
Okay, if there are like mid-level agents watching this and they might be interested in your coaching mentoring program, what would you look to do to help like a mid-level agent grow their business?
They need to go through their systems with a fine-tooth comb. They need to really sit down and look at like, what am I doing that I don't need to do and I can delegate? You also have to be willing to, share the business, share the wealth. And I think that if you want to go fast, go alone, right? But if you want to go far, go together. So you
That's good. I like that.
It may not be a team that you're building, but you're going to need support. And whether that support is just an assistant or a transaction manager, it really comes down to like the leverage aspect. So I would definitely say learn how to leverage and join us for that free webinar.
Yeah, that's so cool. What is the best way for them to contact you if they're interested?
Our Instagram. That's the best way. Epic Hawaii Homes. Our Instagram is the best and easiest way to contact us.
That's amazing. Thank you for talking to me today. It was fun to spend time with you.
It was really great, Barrett. Like, I really enjoyed this. And thank you for giving me a platform to talk about my journey.
You have such great things to share, so I really appreciate it. Yeah.
Well, I really hope that, with my words, like, somewhere out there, somebody can realize, like, if I came here with 2 suitcases and I would skateboard and catch the bus, and I built my real estate career, and I had no work-life balance in the beginning of it, and now I have like incredible work-life balance. Like if I can do all of that, so can you. Seriously, like anybody can do it. It just takes being organized and, yes, being determined.
Yeah. Thank you. Aloha.